Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Chelsea, and welcome to
Nick and Chelsea's Gen Excellent Adventure, where we chronicle 50-something parents of a 5-year-old as we move from the USA to the UAE.
You can also follow our journey on our Instagram page, Nick Chels Gen Excellent Adventure, or type in the name of this podcast. If you have any questions or subjects you'd like us to address, go ahead and send them through our Instagram page.
Okay, so today, in this episode, we are continuing with our Spain series. Let me go ahead and give you a quick refresher.
Yeah.
So we spent about 5 weeks sort of living in Spain as we sort of took refuge during the war in the Middle East.
After we'd first been in the UK for a few nights and then in Germany with relatives for 10 days.
And we did this because we had to hunker down somewhere while we were doing remote school.
Yeah.
Where you are working and T, in theory, was attending.
In theory. But we'll talk more about that later.
And so in our last episode, we kind of discussed why we sort of ended up in southern Spain in the Malaga region.
Costa del Sol.
So in this episode, we're going to
discuss what it was like being a temporary residence in Spain, as in just visitors, not on a massive tourist visa or anything like that, or on a nomad visa, none of that. But we were temporary residents.
Yes, essentially we were having to figure out how to live our life as residents there in Spain for a few weeks.
And dreaming about it while we were there. But don't worry, we're not going back anytime soon. And I just wanted to do a quick go to the present. We're in Dubai. Mm-hmm. We're recording this from Dubai, where we've been back for several weeks. And we just had the most Dubai dinner ever from our apartment, because we got pizza and salad delivered, which is, typical. You can get everything delivered. But then right after that, I was like, you know what? I don't want these desserts. We don't get dessert every night. But I was really wanting some Magnolia Bakery.
And for those who don't know, this is something that has been a regular thing in your existence since before I knew you.
Yeah. I go to Chicago every year for this meeting, except this last year, which was so sad. But I go every year. The same people attend, and we always go out to Magnolia Bakery on Friday night before the meeting, or Saturday night. One of those nights we go out. And some people want the cupcakes. That's what they're most famous for. But I want the banana pudding. And actually, quite a few of us want the banana pudding. So when we got to Dubai, there's no Magnolia Bakery in Seattle. When we got to Dubai and I saw it at one of the malls, I was like, what? And then I introduced you to banana pudding.
Well, that was actually back many years ago when we were in New York.
Oh, I did. That's true. I introduced you to it then. I forgot. Did you like it?
Yes, I mean, that's why I was like, okay, I guess we can get banana pudding while we're here in Dubai.
And T loves it too. So anyway, I got us a big banana pudding to share, and it was happily received by all three of us. And I was like, so Dubai. We got our pizza delivered from one place, and we got our dessert delivered from another. Wow.
Yeah, all coming all within like 5 minutes of one another.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
So yes, we are back in Dubai, living the Dubai life.
Yep.
But today we're going to talk about Spain.
Yep, living the Spain life. Okay, so we kind of broke this up into a few sections, and the first section we're just going to talk about general living.
Yeah. So what was it like? Just kind of finding our basics.
Yeah.
I mean, like, first of all, let's talk a little bit about what was the neighborhood like where we spent our time there in Spain?
Yeah, it was the coast of Benalmadena, Benalmadena, and we talked a little bit about this in the last episode, but it's basically a tourist area. You saw loads of people, especially from the UK, from Ireland, visiting, coming in and out over the weeks. In fact, there was a hotel like across from ours. And so when we walked out our door and we walked to the beach, we'd walk by buses, dropping people off, picking people up.
I can't think of how many vans I saw with people with golf clubs.
Oh,
there were
really? I did not even notice that.
Of men with their golf clubs, all either getting into or out of the van.
Really? Like all men?
They were, and they were going off to go golf somewhere, or just gotten back from golfing somewhere. It's clear that people go to have vacation there for golfing purposes, which is interesting because I don't remember. I remember driving by maybe one golf course.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all, and I never noticed that. That's really funny.
That said, the weather was like ideal golfing conditions.
Absolutely.
It was sunny, but it wasn't too hot. I mean, you can go out there and be comfortable while you're playing your golf. So I can understand why people would do it. I have no idea what the courses are like there.
You could be in pants or shorts. It would be fine. Yeah, absolutely stunning. So we were about 5-minute walk from the beach, and we were about a 5-minute walk to stores.
Yeah.
Just different directions.
There was a main drag, 2 blocks from where we were.
Yeah.
And on that main drag, it was a very touristy main drag.
Yeah.
But it had everything you would kind of need there. You had grocery stores, you had restaurants, you had coffee, and pastries and so forth. So really, we were in a place that for living purposes, we could do the basics without having to drive anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. We still rented a car, but we didn't need it for the day to day.
Yeah.
So we would have, and then of course, in addition to that, the beach being 5 minutes away means there were great outdoor options just within a 5-minute walk. And then also like within a 5-minute drive, the Parque de la Paloma, which we also referenced in a few different episodes, I would say, was the heart. It felt like the heart of Benalmadena.
Yeah. And I know that was one of the things that kind of drew you into that particular location in the first place. I mean,
people had mentioned it.
And we'll get into more detail later in the episode, but it really was kind of the heart of our time there too. I mean, we spent so much time at that, well, certainly T and I spent so much time there at that park. And it was such a wonderful experience there. It gave you so many different sort of options and things you could do there. So it never really got old.
It really didn't. I would say within the first couple of days we've been to that park, you took T there a lot without me, but I also sometimes joined you. Mm-hmm. It took 4 weeks for me to walk there, 3.5. And then I was like, why have I not been walking this? I mean, it's a half hour, but if I'm just walking it, I think we could have done it with T. Honestly, he would have been fine. And it takes you up through these pretty neighborhoods that when you drive, you just don't really go through. So it was a lovely walk too, if you wanted to. Okay. So we mentioned, you could get your groceries, pretty much everything you needed on that strip. So they are different kinds of stores. The first day when we just needed things right away, I went to this local store like a block and a half away right on the corner, and it was fine. It was okay, but there was not a wide selection. It was so. But then you noticed.
Well, when we were driving in from the airport, I noticed the sign for something called Carrefour, which if you've listened to our episodes way in the past, we might have mentioned it. This is one of the main hypermarkets, I guess, globally. But we only learned about it from being here in Dubai.
It's a French hypermarket. It's a French market.
Mm-hmm.
And we have them all over Dubai, both the express, the full regular grocery stores, and then also the hypermarkets. We'd never heard of hypermarkets till we got here. And now we know they have them in France and Spain.
Yeah, when we drove past that, I was like, my eyes lit up. It's like,
yeah, you were so excited.
I recognize something. I understand what this means. This is a place we'll be able to go get whatever we need from, because the hypermarket is a grocery store and I mean, what would you call it?
It's almost
all-purpose.
Like it's a little bit like a Fred Meyer back in the Seattle area. I don't know what they have in other states, but it's like not Costco, but a little bit Costco, but not the bulk part, but
maybe
where you can get everything.
Target-like.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like a grocery store on steroids.
Basically, you can get whatever you need. You can get household goods there. You can get toys. You can get, your lawn furniture, garden stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything you might need for living purposes.
Yeah, it really is like Fred Meyer.
And that was a nice, 7-8 minute drive away.
Yeah, really close.
So spent a fair amount of time going there too, because we had a Carrefour Express about 5 or 6 blocks away. So if we just needed to pick up a few groceries, could walk over to the Carrefour Express, which is on the main drag up there, and get what we needed there. Might have somebody who actually spoke English in there.
You did sometimes. I think, we have heard from a couple people that we met that they had other grocery stores they liked more than Carrefour. But I think for our short period of time, having this within walking distance and the other one so close, and also the familiarity was just nice.
Yeah. So we were able to get our everyday food there, right? We could walk to that. We could get, the little more beyond necessities from the hypermarket not too far away. But, there were other things. Like I remember one time early on, went to a thrift store that you had found. Cause we're
like they call them charity shops like they do in England. Mm-hmm. Charity shop.
But we were very short on anything for T to play with.
Oh yeah, because we didn't pack for 2 months.
We had one, backpack and one suitcase for each of us. So we came with like the absolute bare bones of things to play with. So it was like, well, we need to find some more things for this kid to play with.
Truly.
Especially we're going to be there. We did not know how long we were going to be there for. We could have been there for a couple of months.
Right.
And so went up to the charity store and got a few things for very cheap. Like managed to get there was this rainbow colored dog, electronic dog that would walk and kind of bark a little bit.
Things we don't normally have in our home, actually. Stuff like that.
He really enjoyed that. I mean, he came with me to help pick these things out. So he picked that out. I was not planning on it.
Named it Olive.
Yeah, I was not planning on getting that, and I didn't think he would go for it because one of the things that was there was kind of this kind of cool Hot Wheels track. And we had some Hot Wheels cars with us. And I thought he'd want that. And then he picked the dog.
Interesting. I actually didn't know about the Hot Wheels thing. Fascinating.
And then another thing we got there is we got this game. This game where you kind of built this tree and you had monkeys. And you put the sticks into this tree and you put the monkeys down and they'd catch on it. Mm-hmm. And then you pull the sticks out and try to not have the monkeys fall.
Right. And whoever has the least monkeys fall wins the game. Although we quickly stopped trying to win the game because that was pointless. He used it to create structures and we played a few games with it, but then mostly he just used it to create structures.
Which was one of the things when I saw it, it was like, this could be something that he might be able to find some enjoyment in, even if it isn't just playing.
Yeah. And he did.
Yeah. So that was good. Got a book. They had some kids' books in English there. And I got one that was really kind of odd.
And it was
being odd, but it was
and was it a kid's book? It's really hard to say.
Yeah. What was it called again? It was the
Iron Man or something, but not the one we know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was odd, but there was a message in there, but also not completely clear.
Yeah. Yeah, and it had pages that were kind of loose in there.
Falling out, definitely.
That was not one that we brought back with us.
Nope, not necessary. But we did bring Olive back. We left the game.
Yeah, but we needed more reading materials because we had 4 small books, thin books that we brought with us that he'd already read many, many times. We'd read with him, and he wasn't going to want to keep reading those same 4 books over and over again. So we were looking for things that we could help, with reading and stuff. So that trip to the charity shop was useful.
Absolutely. And you did end up getting a few things over time at the hypermarket too, just little toys for him. And then when people gave us some to just handed down some to us too. So that was nice. And of course we needed more clothes, which I think we also talked about in our last episode, but we needed more clothes. We had enough clothes for a few days in the weather that we were in, which was perfect weather, but we didn't have enough to really we could not do laundry as much as we would need for the clothes because of that hot water heater. So we needed more clothes to counteract the hot water heater.
The good news is that you found the store for that.
I found Primark, which everybody in Europe knows about, or everybody in the UK knows about, and everybody in Dubai now knows about because there's now 3 here.
Yes, this is
it's a big British chain, and it's basically a cheap department store.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it last time. Actually, it's a little bit like Target. I went to Primark. I found a mall in somewhere. Can't remember, but close to Marbella. And it had a Primark and, regular mall stores. In fact, walking through that mall, I got to go by myself. Thank you very much. I really appreciated that time. It was 30 to 40 minutes away. So it was a ways, but it was a beautiful drive, as everything is. And then I walked through the mall and I was like, oh, I see these stores in Dubai. Are they Spanish stores? I wonder. I don't really know. Some of them are for sure, and some I have no idea. But it was kind of fun to see. Besides your regular Zara and Mango and the things that we know are Spanish stores, it was kind of fun to see some others that I recognized. So got some shorts, like cheap stuff for all of us. You know, some more pajamas, some shorts, some loose pants, etc. And we were set.
Yeah. And Primark, it was quite convenient that you found that right there, because little did we know that was, you did know, because before things broke out, the first Primark actually opened here in Dubai.
No, it was when it had broken out.
Was it that week we were here?
It was, no. I don't know if we were here or gone by then, but it opened, I think, while we were gone. And I only know that about it because people were posting their kids taking off school, like from online school.
Ah, okay.
They were like skipping online school to go to the Primark opening. And I was like, wow, is it that big of a deal? And we went to Primark and it is not that big of a deal. But it's cheap, and there's not a lot of cheap things in Dubai. And when you're on a budget, it's very helpful to have a couple things that you just know you can go to. And I don't really know where the thrift store, excuse me. I don't really know where the thrift stores are in Dubai. I know they exist, but they're not rampant. There's not that many of them.
So one of the issues that we had as far as the Primarks here in Dubai, the first one opened in Dubai Mall, which is downtown. A long drive, challenging to deal with.
We're not going
Dubai
there.
Mall.
No.
The second one was in Mirdif.
Yeah.
Which is long drive, less complicated mall, but probably even farther. Well, definitely farther than even going to Dubai Mall.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there's one opening like right now.
It just opened a couple days ago.
At Mall of the Emirates, which is 5 minutes away.
Yeah, we'll go for sure, because this is going to be where we get Teeny's a button-up shirt for his little kindergarten ceremony. They don't call it graduation because why do they ever call it graduation? But it's a kindergarten completion ceremony, basically. So he needs a little button-up shirt for that. So we'll go there and get it. It really is the perfect place to get things like that.
Yeah. Shoes, like he needed a new pair of shoes. We got that.
Yeah, he needed them for school. They have to be black or white. And basically all these stores sell those shoes, but they're expensive. And we found them at Primark and they were so much cheaper. Although maybe at the beginning of the school year, they mark them up. We'll see.
Well, whatever however it works out, we got the timing for those shoes.
Yeah.
They're a little big, so hopefully they'll last for a little longer.
Yes, that's the goal.
When we went to Spain, he had 2 pairs of shoes with him.
Yep.
And he grew out of one of them like right towards the beginning of that trip.
Yep.
So, we were down to it. Now, fortunately, he was fine going around in sandals.
Yeah, we got a cheap pair of sandals there and it was fine.
But yeah, we knew that we needed to get more shoes.
Yeah.
And so now he has a pair that fits.
Yeah. I also got a pair of sandals there, not at Carrefour, at some other discount shoe shop in the mall, but I was very grateful that it was there.
Yeah. Okay. So there's kind of the shopping part of our living in Spain. What about the food?
Yeah, the food. So we were staying, and I think we probably talked about this last time, but we were staying in such a tourist area and we didn't venture out a ton. When we got to go into Malaga, the city, or even up to the pueblo of Benalmadena, we experienced better food. But down where we were with all the tourist stuff, it was just so.
Yeah, it was run-of-the-mill.
Yeah,
and restaurant food.
And we did a fair amount of eating at home. Did we do amazing eating at home? No. But we did eat at home. I did make an Easter meal.
Yes.
In pieces, but it ended up being really good.
Right.
So that worked out. So happy about that. But most of the time we were just kind of eating easy food. A lot of eggs, because when we were in Germany, we got into eggs every day because that's what your cousin made for her family.
It was like breakfast every morning.
And we were like, why don't we do this? This is actually very easy. We should. So we just started doing that. We did it in Spain too. And then we're still doing it here. Not every morning, but a lot more than we used to.
And while we were in Spain, T kind of perfected using a knife and fork, at least on the eggs.
Yeah, because again, like, why had we not been doing this earlier? Because he finally could really practice with a knife. We'd never really given him good food to practice with. It was too hard. Like, don't practice on chicken. It's too hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, he felt really good. In fact, sometimes if you're like, do you want scrambled or fried? He's like, what's the kind where I can use the knife? Fried.
I was sad that we never actually managed to get paella while we were there.
I know, that was such a waste. What we had a excellent meal on the first day we went into Malaga, and it was just a fluke. It was just a fluke because it really was about the look of the place from, I don't know, 3 yards away. Like, I was like, that place looks nice up there. We walked to it.
Well, and I don't think we were actually even looking specifically for a nice place.
No, we were but I was looking, you weren't. I was looking for a picturesque place.
Okay.
I wanted something picturesque. Yeah. You would not have cared about that at all. And I was like, I just want one picturesque place. And we got it. And they did not really speak Spanish or English, and I really didn't speak Spanish, but we managed to order some really good food, and we're very happy with it. That was like our best meal.
Remember, it was very seafood based.
Yeah, and there were multiple things. We tried a lot of different things. We got charcuterie. They don't call it that, but that's what we got. And then we got that soup. So yummy. Yeah. And they had really good bread. Everything was really yummy. So I don't think anything really quite compared with that until we were in Malaga at the end, and our friend recommended a place on the beach.
Oh, right. Down on the beach. So what are those things called again? I cannot remember.
Such a good question.
So along the beach there in Malaga, they basically have a very, very long walkway along the beach. And every 5-6 blocks or so, they kind of have these restaurants that are
they're
half
seafood
inside,
grills,
half outside.
They're known for grilling seafood, and that's what the name of it is around that.
And they're just really, really wonderful. I mean, they're doing what did we have? They cooked a full fish for us.
Yeah, and she told us how to get it. And I wrote it all down. I just can't remember. I don't have my phone right next to me, but I wrote it all down. It's in my phone, all the things she suggested we get. And we got a fair amount of them. And then we just enjoyed food. It was really good. And we're sitting on the beach undercover. We're like, amazing. Yeah. And then when we got back to Benalmadena that next week, I saw a couple of those farther down from where we were. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand. You could see the seafood grill and everything. So, yeah, we ate a whole headed fish.
Was it like flake fish or something like that?
It was a white flake fish. I don't remember what kind it was. But she told us how to say we wanted it. And that's what we got. And it was really yummy.
Yeah. So that was good.
Yeah.
We appreciated that. It was a little harder if we ever wanted to get a pizza delivered.
Yeah, that was that was sort of funny because Nick and I found a really good place one night after T had gone to bed. I just randomly picked one and ended up being really good, but they didn't deliver till they didn't even open till 7 or 7:30, and every place was like that.
Yeah, I think they still have siesta time there.
Yeah,
in
Spain they do, and our kid is not on Spanish time, and we didn't really want him on Spanish time because of school. And I couldn't be on that time for the same reason, because I had to start work at 6 a.m. Well, 5 a.m. the first week. And so it was interesting. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, this is what Spain is known for. But there are always places open. They're for the tourists, though, so they're not as good. This is kind of how it goes, or what it seemed like anyway. But yeah, the pizza was decent, what we had. We just couldn't get it when we wanted it.
Right. So, I mean, really, it ended up being, we maybe got pizza delivered twice.
I think we got it 3 times.
And usually it was just for you and me.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, is sad because T really enjoys a pizza.
Yeah, and there was a lot of, we live in Dubai where there's not a lot of pork. Not a lot of pork. But we went to Spain where there's so much. And so it was kind of nice to be trying different things in that area. But it was, there's just a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so you don't always know what the good stuff is versus the not good stuff. And I found that to be a little bit confusing as somebody who's visiting versus somebody who's in the know.
Okay. And the last thing I wanted to mention about the food is so there was one day, I think it was the rainy day, the one rainy day we had, and I took T to the mall because couldn't go outside in the same way because of the rain. And we were there at lunchtime, and so I was there in a incredibly crowded mall because I think everybody with kids went to the mall during the rain.
Right.
And we ended up just having lunch at Burger King.
Yep.
And
keep in mind, this is not something we do on a normal basis.
No, we don't.
Here
do
or
that
in Seattle
at all. But ended up there and discovered that they have a really good sort of family meal in Spain for Burger King, where you can get kind of a meal for the parent and the kid for a really good deal.
Yeah.
And then the kid gets one of those, meals packages where you get a drink and a dessert and a toy.
Yeah.
And of course, T is all excited about the toy.
Yeah.
And he gets one that one time. And from that point on, our entire rest of the time there, he was like, can we go to Burger King? Can we go to Burger King? Because the other great thing is that he wolfs the food down. He ate their burgers really well and all the other stuff too. And, they had an option for the dessert to be fruit. Like he had pineapple once. And I'm like, oh, I'll get that. Yeah, let's have him eat that. And it was a way when, I'm having tea to myself for long stretches of time, and there might be times when it gets a little bit contentious between the two of us. And a little Burger King might help settle things down a little bit.
Yeah.
So we probably did Burger King one too many times.
And when we got back, he was like, let's go to Burger King. And we were like, no.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure they'd have toys at Burger King here in Dubai.
No, it's very different here. I know. Yeah. They don't have the play area at Burger King. Actually, that was different. Never seen a Burger King with a play area, although we don't usually go to Burger King, so what do I know? But they had play areas at a couple of them. So he enjoyed that too.
But he was happy with it.
Absolutely. I mean, he's happy with any play area. Yeah. Okay, so that was the basics of living, working, doing school.
Yeah, this is going to be your section as far as the working part goes.
Sort of, yeah. So I was working basically in our bedroom. Well, I would get up, roll out of bed, and go work.
Yeah, so what time were you getting up in order to get to work? Because it was, for the most part, a 2-hour time difference.
Yeah, so when it was 6 a.m., I was just rolling out of bed at 5:20 and getting in, opening up my computer at the in the living room at the table, and just starting then. And then I had meetings starting at 6 a.m. So maybe I would heat up some water for tea before that, or if I had a meeting, because we had morning meetings once a week, I would do that. And then I just would be sitting there and hoping students would show up. Some would, some wouldn't. And then once you guys got up, you would just kind of stay out of that area for a while, but then it would be breakfast time. So we'd switch. I would go into the bedroom.
Right. Because when you're in the living room, that cuts off our access to where we can sit and eat.
Right.
And so we wouldn't be able to do breakfast for tea while you were working in the living area.
And I needed that time, partly so that Nick could get ready and not have to worry about me working in the bedroom, but partly just so I could not be sitting in bed all day. So then I would move to the bedroom and be there most of the day. But if you guys went out for a while, I would usually move myself to the living room again. Eventually, I had all this stuff to do that was really hard to do on a laptop screen. And at work, I have 2 screens, including a big monitor and then my laptop. And I'm used to that. And I had that at my last job too. And at home, we had a big screen back in Seattle, but we, of course, got rid of it to move here. And so I was like, oh. And so I had gotten influenced by this woman on Instagram, Professor Marina Cooley. She's in Emory. And she had a couple times posted about this screen extender she bought for her laptop that just hooks on. And I was like, I'm getting that. So did an Amazon order, got the screen extender. And then that made it uses up the power really fast, the battery. And so if I were sitting in the living room, I couldn't plug in anywhere. There wasn't like a place by the table with an outlet. But I would sit there with the screen extender and get this work done. That was easier with the double screen. That like made life a lot better for me. And then I would take it off to go back into the bedroom. I was just changing equipment all day long. Yeah. I also got myself a new mouse, did some things to make it a little bit better. The bonus of those orders is then we had boxes.
That's right. Yeah.
And basically T is like a cat. Give me a box. I can have fun with the box. I mean, he really did get creative because we really had hardly any toys. We got some new toys and then he was like, boxes. And he kept making new structures out of all these boxes.
Yeah. And he would like use his stuffies. We had 4 stuffies with us.
Yeah. And he did all that for an entire month.
Or even his cars. And he would use those as kind of the characters in these little box structures.
Yep. And so anyway, work was hard. I think it was fine. Like as long as school was online, it was fine. It's hard wherever you are to work online with kids stuff. And just when you're not in a workspace that you've created, and even if we were here in our apartment, there's nowhere for me to go. The difference is that it's soundproof in our apartment. Like I could have shut the door in our bedroom and it would have been a little bit easier, but we don't have a desk here. There's no way for me to walk around and just take breaks during the day without getting interrupted by our child. It's just impossible. And the thing with him is because he really, really wants to have your attention when you're around, he can't let you just do your work.
Yeah.
We cannot do it.
We needed to start creating some contracts with incentives to keep him from barging in on you while you were in the middle of calls.
Yeah. And I would just be saying to a family, sorry, because I could hear him outside the door if he were having a tantrum or something. Sorry, do you hear my child? Most of the time they couldn't, but I sure could, so I was like, but it was okay. People were understanding. They've been through this with COVID after all. And then the other thing is that after a couple weeks of doing that, I was like, I have got to start giving myself daily walks. This is not good. I am sitting all day long. I am not moving my body at all.
Well, and not just sitting, but, sitting on a bed.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't like in a chair or anything like that. You were like lounged back, with your back against the pillows and your legs up, which, is not the best for keeping your muscles engaged in any way, shape, or form.
No, it's terrible. And then the last week and a half or so, it was pretty warm during the day. It hadn't been as warm in our balcony area. So I did go outside a few times when no one else was around. I would go outside if it was work where I didn't need to have calls.
Yeah.
And that was nice, but just not common enough.
Well, one of the things also that was good about being there instead of being here in Dubai is that because of the weather, T and I were outside a lot.
Yeah, it was,
and that would give you some freedom to have the apartment to yourself for a decent stretch of
each
day.
It could be anywhere between 1 and 3 to 4 hours, and that was really very, very helpful. I would say closer to 2 to 3 on most days, but really helpful. And then when I did start taking those walks, which, you're always balancing this. I was feeling guilty if I left while they were home because I knew that meant Nick was handling tea on his own, but also like they were going to get a walk in. And if I didn't do this, I wasn't going to get anything in. And I had to go fast. I couldn't take tea with me. So I would take these walks often down the beach. I do different beach, either upper or lower paths. And often get a coffee, not every time. And I started to try the different places to get like a coffee. And, you start to go, okay, this one's good. This one's so-so. This one's not good at all. And then I started venturing up other streets. I was like, oh. And I found like this paladeria, which is basically kind of a bakery. And paladeria, is that right? Something like that. And I was like, oh, there's like a long line of locals in here. Oh, okay, cool. So then I started playing with cash because that seemed to be like the more norm. That was pretty good. So I started starting to feel my way around the different neighborhood spots, not just the tourist spots. I like that. I like kind of knowing a neighborhood. And then we also went a fair amount, both me and you with T, and then all of us together to this bakery that was on the main drag.
Yeah.
And I would do that sometimes. Okay, I'll stop there and I'll get a coffee and maybe a pastry, or you'd go and get me a pastry and bring it back. And that was nice. That just like kind of made me feel like more of the neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was a nice little spot. It was a popular spot.
Yeah.
And you could get, a sweet little breakfast thing. They had donuts there. They had croissants with, whether it's a chocolate croissant or some almond croissant, something like that. Or you could get a
bocadillo.
Yeah, the ham and cheese baguette sandwiches
yum.
are such a staple of places like Spain.
Now, bocadillo for the win. Coffee, there, and coffee all over where we went was like so. Not as bad as Germany, not even close to as good as Dubai. And then I would also say I have gotten really spoiled on baked goods here in Dubai. It's not like I get a ton of them, but even just croissants, they are, if you go to the right place, amazing. And just, so that bakery was nice. And I really liked the atmosphere. The baked goods were, they were decent.
Okay, so that was your working situation.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about T and his schooling, because he was, in theory, doing school online the entire time we were there in Spain as well.
He's a kindergartner.
Yes, so 5-year-old. And I don't know how this happened, but somehow they had the kindergartners doing full-day synchronous learning.
It is shocking to me that they had every grade level do this.
Which meant that you were logging on at first thing in the morning, and you had classes the entire day.
I mean, you had a lunch break for 45 minutes or something.
And maybe a recess break.
Yeah.
And you would have to go to different classes because not everything happens in the homeroom. Like he's a specialist, so he'd have a PE class, for example, where
library.
You'd have to log into a different room. Like say library. They had Arabic. I mean, that was like, how am I even going to be able to help with that in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I don't know. There were some of his classmates that were like doing this full time.
We couldn't figure it out. We were like, how are they doing this full time? Maybe, I mean, many to most of his classmates have nannies. So their parents may or may not work, but they have a nanny to help with this stuff. But we really were like, I mean, our child cannot do this. I mean, even if there was a nanny, like he could not sit still all day. Impossible. And nor should any kid be sitting still all day. Really.
Yeah. And when you add in the time difference, I mean, he was having his classes start at 6 a.m. in Spain. And we talked about this in the last episode. They don't get up that early there in Spain. Yeah. And so
I would have taken my walk in the morning if I were not up so early.
And I think we went over the little anecdote about the neighbors downstairs coming up to complain when he was doing a PE class in the morning one day. So you add in that time difference, and we kind of just punted on the idea.
And we did tell the teacher, like, listen, this is going to be async for us. Like, if he can log on, great, but like, we're just not going to worry about it. And she was understanding.
Yeah. I mean, I figured it was a win if we got logged in once a day just so he could show his face.
Yeah.
And his teacher would know he's still alive.
Yeah. He made the counseling meetings for the most part. Like he has a small group he's in, and then he also did the class counseling lessons. So for the most part, he would do those. But beyond that, like it was just hit and miss. And you tried to do some of the activities that were in Seesaw. They use Seesaw.
Yeah, I would try to get like 1 or 2 of those a day on our own time.
Yeah,
not
and then
logging into
them.
class, but see if we could get some of it done. It wouldn't force the entire thing. Like if we got halfway through it, I'd submit, a half completed assignment, and it really was more to show that we're doing a little something.
Yeah, and I think it's fine. I do think he was a little behind when we got here. But got back, but he has caught up quickly.
Yeah.
I really, the way his reading is taking off right now, I think like, okay, so he missed 2 months of school and he's fine. Like it's really great. Okay, cool.
Well, and when you talk about reading, one of the things that it was actually kind of nice that we were able to do while we were there is I ended up doing a lot of reading and taking it to a different level than we had done with him before.
Yeah.
We'd been basically doing mostly picture books with him since he's been a baby.
Right.
And what happened is that while we were in Spain, I still happened to have my Seattle Public Library account, and you can check out ebooks.
Yeah.
And what I started doing was finding ebooks to check out from the library. Now, we started doing the same sort of books at the very beginning, but that goes very fast, especially when you've got a full day you've got to fill in.
And honestly, picture books on Libby are just not as fun.
Yeah. So I started trying to find some chapter books that would be appropriate for his age. And, you do all the
searching. I think you started with the Henry Heckelbeck looks, right? Because we had
one of those.
We had one Henry Heckelbeck book with us because we bought this over Christmas at a place called Third Place Books. And it was just a guess. Like I picked it out. I looked at it. I went, I think this is going to be a good chapter book for T for us to read together. He loved it.
Yep.
So then it was like, oh, well, it was the first in a series. So you started looking for those.
Found that they had that there at the Seattle Public Library. Not all of them. In fact, I ended up suggesting a title for because they went every other one.
It was a 1, 3, 5. What?
And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to suggest 2 and 4. And because they were e-editions, they actually responded really, really fast, and they got them up there pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then I, went online and started Googling good chapter book series for kindergartners, and came up with several more. We tried some, thought that worked out. We've tried some that we're like, okay, after one or two of those, we don't need to do that one anymore.
Yeah.
And I think now we have a resource that we are continuing to use here in Dubai.
Yeah.
Because I'm still, doing that with him.
Yeah, we're not going to buy all those books. We don't have room for all those books, but he is really into it. That said, there was a book fair at school last week, and because of all these chapter books that he is really into, he went to the book fair and bought his own book with his class, but I went to the book fair on my own time, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get him a big old chapter book that we can read with paper, And now that he's so into it and he's not following it all the details. I got him a pretty complicated one. I got him Matilda, and it has lots of detail, but he's engaged.
Yeah.
So I think this idea that he can do chapter books, he's not reading them yet, but he's starting to read his smaller books.
Yep.
And then the chapter books are like Pete the Cat stuff. But he's super into the chapter books. It's awesome.
And, when we weren't doing learning, which was a lot, doing his learning, that's when we started venturing out and going places and spending a lot of time at these outdoor spots. Let's start with the beach, because it was a 5-minute walk away, and we would go down there just about every day.
Yeah.
And the thing that he really got into was using the workout equipment down there.
Oh my gosh. This kid.
I mean,
obsessed.
So what would happen is we'd go down there, and if there was any older male doing a serious workout, he would just be transfixed.
And by older male, because that sounds a little sketch, you mean anybody not a kid.
Right. It's anyone from 15 to 75, basically.
Yeah. And we saw them all.
Yep. And, a lot of shirtless guys with good physiques.
And he's just transfixed. Yeah. He cannot stop staring. And you're like, T, stop staring. Yeah. He's like, what?
And he would talk to some of these people, and they're all totally into the fact that this 5-year-old wants to work out. And
yes,
they're very enthusiastic and encouraging of him getting into it. And he would do all the things. He figured out how to do pull-ups and chin-ups while we were there.
Oh my gosh!
Because there was these bars that were lower that he could get to on his own. And oh my goodness! Well, first of all, he's got the perfect body type for doing this.
He's long and lanky.
Yeah, but he's a strong kid.
Yeah.
And so at one point,
sinewy.
He did 8 consecutive pull-ups.
Yeah, incredible.
I don't know if I've ever done that in my life, and I got a pretty good body for doing pull-ups as well.
Oh man, I have never been able to do pull-ups, and those challenges that you had to do as a kid in PE. I can't remember what they're called, the something challenge. But anyway, you had to do pull-ups. I could never do them. Yeah. Never could, still can't. I'm not trying especially hard. But I was like, wow, our kid is just lapping us. He's amazing.
And then one other thing. So during the week while we were here in Dubai before we left, and we were stuck inside the whole time.
Yeah.
We started finding ways for him to occupy himself, and one of it was you found these workout videos.
Counselor suggested it
because
she's like, he might like this. My kids used to like this, and lo and behold, we unleashed a dragon.
Yeah, so there are these YouTube videos where it's like
kids
12-year-olds or so are like actually leading a workout.
Yeah.
And T would actually join in with them and do all the things they were doing.
And we have these little 5-pound weights. So he was doing it with the 5-pound weights. That was the goal originally. And then he started seeing, we don't watch YouTube with him because first of all, YouTube is dangerous with kids, but that's the only place you can really find these videos. So we did go look at that. And then you see all these other workout videos. So we did watch a few different workout videos that week. And it really did unleash like this huge interest.
So while we were there at the beach in the workout area, there was a few times where he actually wanted to do workout videos.
Yeah.
So we managed to get some workout videos of him kind of doing the lead or demonstrating of doing workout stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like flipping over the bar and climbing on it. And it's like level 1, level 2.
He's like, so
3.
today I am.
It's a beautiful day out.
Yes, it's a beautiful day out. It was really cute. We can't share it with you because we don't put our kids' face on screen. But we sent it to family members and it was adorable.
Yeah, so the beach was great.
And every park that we went to, so I just will say every park maybe in Spain, has workout equipment. So that, like Parque de la Paloma had different areas with workout equipment.
Well, let's go ahead and move on. Let's move on to Parque de la Paloma.
Okay.
Because as much time as we spent at the beach, we probably spent just as much time at Parque de la Paloma.
Yeah.
About 5-minute drive away from where we were staying. And this park was incredible. I mean, it's big. And it has so many different aspects to it that it really never got old.
Yeah.
And, when you talk about the workout stuff, on the bottom of it, in the lower area, there's a pretty good-sized man-made pond that they have there with a walking/jogging path that goes around it. And they have stations.
And turtles.
Well, yeah, they're turtles out there in the water. But there's stations all around it with workout equipment.
Yeah.
And, of course, that fed into what he was doing. I mean, he loved going there and doing the workout equipment.
And at that one in particular, you saw other kids also doing it. So it was pretty cute. He got lectured once by an older person for him using the equipment. And I thought that was funny. I was like, there's kids here all the time, but okay. And it was because he was using some equipment you're not supposed to use at that age. And I was trying to tell him, like, don't use that one. We'll move over to this other one. But he got really, like, offended by that person. But mostly it was fine. Loads of kids and adults using those things together.
Yes. So they had that down below. When you went up the hill some way, you got to the playground areas. There are actually a couple of them. One was for young kids, which really was too small for him. But one was this very large playground area that was really great.
Yeah.
It had big open spaces for running. It had big climbing structures. What was really cool is they had a kind of a bridge that went over the walking path. So this playground was separated into 2 areas that were connected by the path overhead. I mean,
it was so cool.
You could get to them, by walking on ground level too, but you could do it by going through that path. Big long slides, swings. I mean, it was really
and kids of all languages.
Yes.
So it was intimidating for him at first because he didn't know how to make friends there. But eventually he started talking or playing with people just without language, and it worked out really nicely. And then he would also find a few kids that spoke English because there's a lot of people who come from the UK and they visit that park, or they live in the area and visit that park. But yeah, we had a play date there, a couple play dates there with people that we connected with through Facebook. And you just can't, there is no better place. There's also multiple cafes in the park at the bottom level, the middle level, and the top level. And one of those cafes has like a play area.
Right, and
outside
indoor.
and inside.
Yeah, it had like a
like a mini bouncy
inflatable
house. Yeah.
bouncy house for the outside, and then like a ball pit on the inside.
Yeah, and so the kids, the first play date we had that was intentional were these 2 Finnish kids, and they maybe they were like 4 and 6 or 5 and 7. Anyway, they were super, and their mom met us, and it was really nice. And then we went over to that cafe, and they had ice cream, and everybody, enjoyed the play area together. And we just talked to the mom, and it was great. I was like, this is so nice. Is everybody this nice here? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, that park is amazing. Like everywhere you look. Oh, and there's also like these big sculptures.
Yeah. They had these like sculptures out in this grassy area, which they're like heads.
Yeah, the grassy area is like behind the playground.
Yeah, so they're like hollowed out heads that were on the ground
that are kind of
were
lying
big
on
enough
the side.
that kids could actually like go into them.
Yeah.
So it was, they weren't like they're just kind of there.
They're huge, and they're just kind of cool. I mean, I like looking at them. I was like, these are kind of cool, artistic.
But they're right there by the grassy area, which, when I was looking for things for T to play with, but thinking about, we can't get things that we can't bring back home with us necessarily unless they're small.
Right.
Or I don't want to spend a ton of money on this. Well, I got a 4-pack of tennis balls.
Yeah.
And that turned out to be a really good investment because
so
when we were at the park, we would go out and play catch.
Yep. And frequently used.
And, like that very first PE where we got in trouble with, they were watching videos of learning how to catch.
Yeah.
And so that kind of got that idea into his mind and my mind. And so we did a lot of playing catch out there.
Yeah.
And he did a great job of improving at these things. And as people know, I'm a sports writer or former sports writer who really consciously did not push our son towards sports.
Yeah.
But he comes by it naturally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I found myself very much enjoying going out and having a catch.
Oh,
with
yeah.
T.
I mean, you've always enjoyed that. Like, you've been kicking a ball with him, playing catch with him for 3 years, babe. Like, he's, 2 to 3 years. And he's always enjoyed it. And you've always enjoyed it. Yeah, it's really fun to see. And then it also has a library.
Yep. There's a public library attached to it. We never actually ended up going into the library.
I can't believe we didn't go in there. So silly.
Yeah, that was silly. But the animals, they had animals there. They had the chickens. Yep. Some chicken pens that they had there.
I think in warmer weather, as it gets warmer, there's more.
Yeah.
More animals that come out.
Well, they had the goats there too.
Yep.
So the goats were there that you could kind of go say hi to.
Yep.
And then of course around the pond and really all around the pond, there's birds. There's ducks and there's whatever those little green birds were.
Oh, they were so pretty. These bright green birds.
Pigeons and everything. And one thing that people did out there is they fed the birds.
Yeah.
And so we ended up doing that a lot too. I mean, here you don't really feed the birds at all. There aren't as many birds, first of all, but it's very much discouraged, I think. You never see anybody actually doing it.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to do it at home either. But we grew up doing that, but you don't do it now. Like, we know you're not supposed to do that. And so we decided, let's give T our childhood. Yeah. Let's let him feed the birds since everyone else is doing it too.
Yeah, we just bring a couple pieces of bread out, and he was really good at, what he would do is he would like do it in very small pieces. Yeah. And then he would very much intentionally spread it out.
He was really trying to get all the birds
involved. So that was
really
pretty sweet.
Even distribution. Very sweet. Yeah, it was nice. We did have one really unfortunate bird experience, however.
Yes.
Oh my.
Okay, you really saw it firsthand, so why don't you kind of go over that?
I don't know that I'm going to get this down exactly. And I think I put it into our Instagram, so some people might have seen this, but basically we're sitting in a cafe. This is like our first day there as a family early on, and T is facing the windows and I'm facing T.
Yeah.
So I'm across from him and you. And he goes, why is that seagull eating that bird? And I turned around and I was like, oh my gosh. And it was literally killing a pigeon.
Yeah.
Right in front of us. And I was like, oh my gosh, look the other way. It was so shocking. And poor T, once he realized that was true, that was actually happening, he just started sobbing.
Yeah.
And he was like, why? I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see that. Why did it do that? You know, and I was like, oh man, that was really, truly frightening. I'm so sorry, buddy. And also, it's really just like the circle of life. And he goes, you mean like the Lion King? Oh, no. That's not what it was. I said, do you remember in the Lion King how like different creatures would eat other creatures? He says, you mean it's the circle of life? And I was like, yep. We've only watched the Lion King once. Well, once on stage and once on movie. And it scared him to death. He did not like it. So we don't watch it. But he has remembered that, which was helpful. But yeah, that was traumatizing.
Yeah. And for a couple of days, he was very anti-seagull.
Yeah. Yeah. He eventually did get over it since he was feeding birds. But it was good to keep being around them.
Yeah. That was a very startling experience. So not just for him, it was for
all of us.
Too.
I mean, to watch that, I was like, oh, it is decapitating that bird. Oh, yikes. And I've never seen that happen. And then it's funny because I mentioned this to a few people and they're like, oh yeah, they're such scavengers. And I was like, I've just never, we are from Seattle. There's seagulls everywhere. I've never seen this.
And it was not scavenging. It was attacking.
It was, it was
this was not like
a live bird.
Yeah. Not like on last legs sort of pigeon. This pigeon was still flapping and moving and trying to get away.
It was horrifying. Yeah. So, okay. Anyway, that was just a side note. The other beautiful thing that the park had, Parque de la Paloma, was this awesome cactus garden.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So cool.
And it was large. I mean, it was like you had to walk around the path for a while and you had all kinds of different cacti. Very tall ones.
Yeah. Little bushy ones.
Yeah. Got a lot of questions from T about how spiky and sharp they were. Because he was very curious about that. I think he ended up jabbing himself once.
That's okay. He was not. It wasn't bad. Yeah. My grandma had a mini cactus garden, just like in her home, like in pots, and that's who I think of when I see cactus. And I kept thinking, oh, she would have loved that. You know. Yeah. It was pretty cool. Anyway, it was a beautiful, beautiful playground or a beautiful park, and you see people write about it. Like what a wonderful place it is. And I'm like, yes. Like it would be so great to live within walking distance of that park because that's also close to another part of the beach. You can walk to, and we did one day walk from there to a different part of the beach. And we were like, amazing, beautiful. And it also is across from another, we didn't go to it, but you could just see it, another park.
Yeah.
When you went out one of the entrances, you saw this other park right across the street and you were like, wow.
But you didn't need to do that.
You didn't need to do it. No.
Parque de la Paloma had everything you needed.
It was for a family, for a kid, perfect. For a quiet stroll, the other park would have been nice. Anyway, we loved the Benalmadena in general. It was just a stunning place. The last thing I'll mention about it is that we did go up to the Pueblo a couple times, and that was a whole different Spanish feel. Yeah. Right. Like where we were staying, where we were living was down in the tourist area and that was up in the living area. And you were like, wow, look at these white homes, these beautiful, like, flower pots all along the windows, just really stunning. And then we saw, actually, you know what? We'll talk about that next time.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, beautiful place.
So, you had mentioned playdates. And that was one thing that was really useful is that we were there without any kids for T.
Oh man.
But you were able to, mine the local area and find some kids for him to be able to play with.
Yeah, I was really so grateful for the people who responded to my post. Some just suggested places to go, which was usually the park. We're already doing that. But some really reached out and said, here, message me separately, and we exchanged numbers. And then we set up dates with them. And you got together with one of them a couple times. Actually, two of them a couple times. And, while I was working. And I was just so grateful because these people were like, welcome. You might be here short term. We will still help you. Like, oh, thank you. And they were all expats too. And one of them was even just visiting, but they come here regularly. They have a place to stay. that I think a family member's place to stay. So it felt so nice.
Yeah.
It felt so welcoming. And I Dubai was a hard transition in many ways in this particular area. Like we had one set of friends that got to know us ahead of time, and they continue to be like our main source of like activity for tea that is regular.
Mm-hmm.
And we've met their friends, and they're unfortunately moving, but like that was it. Outside of that, like it's been harder to kind of break in. And so it felt so easy.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, why is it so easy there and so hard here when there's so many expats here too?
And, tea really, this was a struggle for him because, we had to displace him multiple times. He was taken out of his comfort zone by circumstances that he knew were not right.
Yeah, he knew what was going on.
He probably doesn't fully understand what it all means and what the war is all about. But
he heard the alerts.
He did know that this was not normal.
Yeah.
The reason why we left. And so, he was struggling through it all. And finally finding some kids to be able to spend some time with and actually have some fun with, I think probably did him a lot in terms of getting him a little bit more feeling at, normal.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it was hard. This was a hard time for our family. We loved Spain, and it was hard. Mm-hmm. Both things are true. So anything to break that time of just the three of us and get him socializing was huge, and getting you socializing really, because you were seeing the parents more than I was. Yeah. And so the last thing that we really enjoyed while we were there is we did Gaelic.
Yes, the Gaelic athletics. That was actually one of the things that you used to find that location in the first place. Yeah,
I looked up Gaelic athletics in Luxembourg. I looked at them in Spain in general. Somebody suggested I just go to the Irish GAA site and look for where they are in Europe, and so I did. But I messaged a couple in Spain. One didn't have a kids club, and then this one responded to me right away, and they did. And it was about 45 minutes away from us, but still like within reason. So we went, it's the Costa Gaels. We went for 3 weeks. They were not running the first 2 weeks we were there. So we went for the last 3 weeks. And, in 3 weeks, it's only, was it only 3?
I can't remember.
I think it was. Yeah. In only those 3 weeks, I mean, we got to know people because it's a much smaller club.
Yeah.
So the one here is huge, and we have gotten to know people, but definitely haven't gotten to know that many people, considering how many there are, because a lot of people already know each other and it's just really big. But here, because there's such a small group, it's very clear you're new, and people just kind of reached out right away. Right.
Plus there's, fewer adults to talk to.
That's true.
Because there's just, not as many kids. I mean, they're like the first time we went there was actually on Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
Which actually turned out to be like perfect because that was early on, and they did an egg hunt for the kids at the start of Gaelic that day. And that got tea drawn in and engaged right from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we couldn't have started on a better day.
It was perfect. And we didn't have any Easter plans, so we did our own little egg hunt that day, which I guess is also part of living in Spain, doing your own egg hunt with non-colored eggs. I like hard-boiled them, but they weren't colored. And he did okay.
Well, he also woke up at 2 a.m. and went and found them all.
Oh, yeah, that was so frustrating. You're right, I forgot. Okay, so he did okay. There were a couple that stayed hidden, but yeah.
Had to tell him the Easter Bunny would come back again if he went back to sleep.
Anyway, because our egg hunt was like semi-ruined, the one that they did in the morning, where they were given Lindt eggs, Lindt chocolate bunnies, like Lindt the brand.
Oh, right, yeah.
We were like, whoa, fancy. But anyway, it was really nice, and that was a great way to start. And then even like on the third week, I really saw T come into himself. Like he was just being his sweeter self that we hadn't seen much of that on the trip, like with other kids in particular. I mean, he's been fine with other kids, but like he was being extra sweet on that last day. And we actually haven't seen all of that as much in Dubai. I think there's just a different atmosphere and it hasn't shown up as much. And we were seeing it there where there was just like a lot of sweetness in general in that group. Yeah. And so, including from the parents. So I will link a couple sites, a couple other Instagram pages of people that we met, because a couple of them, that's like how they live and make their living in Spain. And they were so welcoming to us. And so we definitely need to give them a shout out. And I know that they also listen to our podcast now, or at least the mom does. Anyway, they're lovely people. And every week we felt so welcome by them, but just also by everyone. And then also really fun that you don't see at the Dubai Air Og, just because it's so big. T got to watch the adults practice. Yeah. In fact, they would start their training before the kids' session was over. Yeah. And so I actually ended up taking over training one day. That's hilarious. I forgot about that. Make sure you tell the people here that you can do that. Except that it petered out really fast after I took over. Yeah. The kids were like, okay, we're on to going and playing with cars now. Yeah. But T would watch them. Yeah. Oh, he loved it. He loved watching them. Because the coach is down there as part of it. And he was really into the coach. To ask the coach about it or be around the coach while, they were taking their water breaks and so forth. And so he got to see it in action in a way that you don't get to see it in action here in Dubai when you're just going to the kids training. Yeah. He really got, I think, inspired by that. I mean, he's so, as you can see, our kid is very athletic. He also loves music and other such creative things, but he is athletic and needs to move his body. So watching people compete or just practice to compete at kind of high levels is really fascinating for him. Yeah. So it was fun. And it was fun for me to see the adults play too. Also, really randomly, maybe the best coffee I had in Spain was at the Costa Gales practices when they were open. They had like a dark, it was a Arabic coffee. That's what it was. It was Arabic coffee. And I was like, that's why it's so good. It's Arabic coffee. It was so good. And they could make you a little cafe con leche. And I was like, thank you. This is the best one I've had. And they had a menu. So if their full kitchen was open, you could get breakfast there. Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed that place. And they was playing I think they played at the Marbella Rugby Club. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, and then that gave us an opportunity, which we can talk about later, but we did get to go explore Marbella a little bit because of it too. Yeah. All right. So shall we move on to our recurring segment? Yes, we shall. Our excellence and boguses of living in Spain. Okay, you go first. Okay, so my excellent from our time living there is that we had a dishwasher in the apartment. We do not have a dishwasher here in Dubai. That means there is a lot of hand washing of dishes. Yeah, a lot. And Nick does most of it. Thank you, Nick. We still had to do our share of hand washing things there, especially because we were cooking eggs so much and we weren't putting the pans into the dishwasher. Yeah. But we got to not have to wash dishes and glasses and mugs for the first time in 9 months. Yeah, it was nice. And I appreciated that aspect of being there in Spain. Okay. How about you? What was your excellent, Chelsea? Ham. Ha ha ha. Truly, I love ham. It is probably my favorite meat. And so I really enjoyed ham, etc. But in reality, my true excellent is just daily views in the region, because I never, ever tired of it. I would just sit. When I was in the bedroom, I'd open the curtains and I would just look outside. I was like, oh my gosh. And then if I went onto the balcony, I was like, ocean. And then taking those walks. And when we go up into the Pueblo, like everywhere you look is mountains and ocean, mountains and ocean. And I just realized how much of an impact landscape actually does make on me that I didn't fully realize. I mean, I have lived other places that are flat and not as interesting, but this is just a next level for me. So beautiful. Yeah, we happened to be in a part of Spain that was
really perfect for that.
It's true. And we went to Madrid to fly out and we spent one night in that region. And I was like, I mean, it's fine. After Malaga, it's not as amazing. I mean, it's not coastal for one thing. So that's a big part of it. But it had the mountains, but it just didn't have that stunning quality that you get down where we were. Yeah. This is something else. Okay. So what's your bogus?
Okay. So we've talked many times about Dubai here and all the motorcycles and, how there are these fleets of delivery drivers that you have to deal with when you're driving out on the roads.
Yeah.
And how it can be a challenge sometimes because they're driving and you're trying to change lanes and the motorcycle sneaks into your spot. In our area of Spain, the motorcycle drivers were way more challenging to deal with.
They were definitely.
They would drive between the lanes all the time, and they're zipping through areas that
it's worse than California.
Where they shouldn't be going, and you would have to worry about whether you're going to run into one when you're turning or something like that, because they're very much worse about kind of doing what works for them as opposed to what works within whether it's the rules or what works for the collective as a whole. It felt dangerous out there.
Well, and we saw an accident. We saw a motorcycle driver on the ground injured, and T saw it too. It was on it was going the other direction from us, and the traffic was backed up, but you saw why, and you saw it very clearly.
Yeah.
And he went from saying, I want to drive a motorcycle when I'm older, to I don't ever want to drive a motorcycle. He literally said that. And I was like, fine with me. But also, it doesn't always work out that way, but don't drive it here, please.
Yeah.
This is not a safe place to drive a motorcycle.
So Dubai motorcycle drivers, I will never speak ill of you ever again. You all are doing a great job. Thank you for being relatively safe out there. Now that I've experienced what worse can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that's me on my bogus. How about you?
Ham. I loved ham for 3 weeks, and then I was like, okay, no more ham.
I mean, it really is everywhere. I mean, you go into the stores. I mean, they have actual in the malls, there will be a ham store or butcher where they have the hides hanging down from the ceiling, and they're
even in the hypermarket they have that.
Doing the slicing there right in front of you. I mean, it is everywhere. When we talk about going to these pastry places or the bakeries, they have those bocadillos always available.
Yeah.
All the menus have ham on them. Lots of ham. You got to figure out which one is the one you want. Because
totally.
there's so many different types.
Yeah, and we definitely had somewhere I was like, does everybody have to grill these? I just want the cold bocadillo. I don't need it to be grilled or heated. I don't need that. I just want the cold, like you would get at a walk up in Barcelona years ago, the last time I went there. But that's what I wanted, and that was not as easy to find everywhere. A lot of places were doing automatic grilled. I was like, what? Why is this a tourist thing, or am I just not going to the right places? I don't understand. But when you could get just a cold bocadillo, yummy. Until I was done. I was like, okay, I've had ham 4 out of 6 days this week, and I don't need any more.
Yeah, I did not think you were going to get to that point.
I did,
and you got to that point pretty quickly.
Well, that was 3 weeks in. Yeah, 3 weeks in probably. I was eating a lot of it, and then I was like, and done. And now we're here, and I'm like, oh, I wish we had pork.
Well, I mean, that was the thing, is that you got to get your fill while we were there in Spain. We knew we needed to do that. You got your fill.
I did. All right. So anyway, that was living temporarily in Spain. I think we're going to do more on our next episode about being tourists.
Yes.
What are the things we did that were more touristy?
What are the sites that we saw? The places
what would we
went?
recommend?
So we got one more episode, I think, of Spain to go.
And we didn't do a ton of tourist things, so it'll be a little bits of a few things and then a lot about one.
So anyway, there's our episode for this particular part of our journey. Remember, you can always follow us on Instagram.
Yep.
Nick Chelsea, Gen Excellent Adventure. And until next time, be excellent to each other.
Happy Eid, everyone.